All right, so I've had a lot of questions about this since I've posted my disassembly video. So I wanted to show you how to go about lengthening the wire that connects the pedal to the trap itself. So hopefully this will be clear to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment or send me a message. I'd be happy to help you out. But if you've gotten to this point, this view probably looks familiar. This is half the trap. And I'm in the process of reassembling it. I've totally modified my own trap. I completely stripped it down, repainted everything, installed screen accurate parts on it. I'll show you here. Here's the other half with knobs and aluminum plates and screws, and I used electrical tape on the trap doors, which is cool. I also filled the speaker holes and painted that. So yeah, I'm really excited to put it back together, and the plan is to use the Sean Charlesworth method of connecting the cabling in a way that utilizes the Foster connector and also allows you to use that as a jack as well, switching jack. So that's what I have here. I have the Foster connector, and that's been modified with Sean's kit to accept the detachable connector to use with the pedal. And here's my pedal here. Turned out really well. This is using all Sean Charlesworth's parts. So really super excited to get this functioning and working. I can't wait. So that's where we're at today. So this view probably looks familiar to you. Normally this cable would be fed out of a hole in the side of it's actually that hole right there. I filled that as well. And then out to the pedal. But in this case, we're going to use this. So how do I make this attached to that? So in many cases, all you want to do is extend this. So this method will work for that as well. All you would need would be a longer 2-conductor cable. You can really use any flexible cable. That's up to you and whatever you have at your disposal. You just need 2 conductors, so 2 wires within the same cable. And you would either feed that through the hole and then we would splice it inside the box here, or if you're going to utilize something like this, either way, this method will work for you. So let me put this on the tripod and we'll get started. All right, so if I had to do this all over again, I would have waited to connect these wires to the connectors and spade terminal here, or ring terminal rather. I would have much rather had these connect directly to both parts, but in this case it's already installed and I'm just feeling a little lazy today. I don't want to go about doing that. So what I'm going to do is connect 1/2 to the terminal that has the green wire, and I'm going to eliminate the green wire, and then I'm just going to splice the other half into the black wire here. So let's go ahead and do that. Grab some cutters here. So like I said, this green wire is going away. The black wire is just going to stay because I'm feeling lazy right now. So I get my soldering iron in here. I'm going to tin the end a bit so it transfers heat better, and I don't want to melt that insert there. My wire strippers. I don't need to strip back a whole lot, just enough here. All right. Now, the connector here, this part right there is already tinned, so I don't have to worry about that. but I do have to tin this wire right there. Anytime you solder, you tin both ends, and then you apply heat, and you allow the solder to flow. Okay, now I'm going to measure this with a little bit of extra length, just because I'm going to install a smoke kit and I don't know how long those wires are. I just want to make sure I have enough to get through, you know, in case I have to remove something down the road. All right. I'm going to very carefully separate these. That should be enough. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know, well, no, polarity won't matter here. It doesn't matter which wire goes to which connector, because all you're doing is closing the circuit. So when that switch is engaged, all you're doing is touching the two wires together. So it doesn't matter which side is which is convenient. Let me strip these back. And we'll go ahead and tin these ends. There you go. Okay, so I've tinned those. Now, I'm gonna grab my heat shrink here and slip it on the line. Actually, I'll separate that a little bit more. The reason being, if the heat shrink is too close to the source of the heat, i.e. where the connection's happening, it will begin to shrink the heat shrink, and we don't want that. We want that over the connector. So I'll slip that on. I'm also going to slip on this larger one. It's really not necessary, but I like it to be as clean as possible. So now, here's something else to consider. If I was extending this and this connection was going to be open to the elements, I would want to twist these wires before I solder them. In this case, I'm going to do what's called tack soldering. There's not going to be any mechanical connection other than the solder, which is okay because this connector is going to live in this box. It's never coming out. There's not going to be any tension on it. So there's no mechanical connections really necessary. Again, if I was feeling adventurous, you know, I would do it the quote-unquote proper way. I get that. But in this case, all I'm going to do is apply some heat. We already have solder on it. Wait for it to flow. Pull the iron away. You know you have a good connection when the solder flows and when you don't have any cloudy solder. If it's nice and shiny, you know you've got a good connection. I'm gonna pull the heat shrink over it. Apply some heat with the heat gun. Not too much, you don't want to burn the insulation. And now, we'll attach this. In this case, we already have solder on both connections. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to sort of tack it into place. Apply the heat. Let the solder flow. Hold it there till it cools down. And that is a really great solder connection there. All right, now the purpose of the large heat shrink is just to tidy it up a bit. So I'm gonna kind of do this just so the wiring is even with itself. Pull that over it. Apply some heat. Again, making sure not to melt anything. We're dealing with 3D printed parts here and plastic, so. All right, and there we go. That's honestly all there is to it. Now I can connect my pedal at this end, and that will, when I engage the pedal, will complete the circuit, opening up the trapdoors. So there you go. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Once I get it totally complete, I'll post a little demo video. I plan on adding a smoke kit too. I'm really excited to get this thing done. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. Thanks.